Welcome back for topic 2.9. In this video, we're going to begin our discussion of using the math class in Java. You're going to need a copy of your Java Quick Reference or think about the Java Quick Reference, but I'd much rather it be available to you as we introduce using the math class in this video. What we're going to spend some time today really focusing on is how math class methods are different than the methods that you've already seen used with string, integer, and double. You'll notice here that mod 1H, the learning objective, tells us that math class methods are static. And con 1D talks about how you will be required to evaluate expressions that use math class methods. So you're going to need to be able to predict code and apply these methods to actual data. And then you have 3 essential knowledge statements. All right, so the first thing I want to explicitly go over is that math class methods are predefined. We get these from our library, our API, and they return numeric values, and math class methods will act upon the parameter that we give them. Sometimes the parameter that we give a math class method is going to be an actual number, an integer or a double. Other times we may let the parameter be a variable that we call and insert there as our parameter. Predefined, math class methods are predefined, and what this means is that Java has organized these methods into a collection that's a part of the library that we have as a part of the math class. Math class methods are static. They've been declared as static, therefore they are static, and they are static. That refers to how these things are handled in memory. Static methods belong to the class instead of objects of a class. And here's sort of a little bit of why this is the case. Math class methods don't require an instance variable. When we use string objects in like topic 2.6 and 2.7, we had the string like word of the day dot index of, word of the day dot length. So we had to have that object variable, that object reference that the string method acted upon. That will not be the case with math. With the math class methods, we're literally just going to have the ability to kind of like plug and play, plug and go, plug and chug, I guess maybe what you'd say in your math class, your lowercase math class at school. The math class is a part of java.lang, and that's imported for us. I discussed that in a previous lesson. You don't have to implicitly call that import to make the program do its work. The compiler will grab that one for us. And then here's a little pro tip that I found in doing my reading and prep for this video. If you do implicitly import static, and you can read that java.lang.math.wildcard asterisk, then you don't have to use the math prefix when you call your math class methods. Now your teacher may not want you to do that. You're not going to see that as a part of the AP subset, but if you're doing a whole bunch of work with the math class, you might want to know that that's an option. Now, my last little tip on this particular slide about math is that there are 5 math class methods provided on the Java Quick Reference. As you can imagine, there are many, maybe 100, I don't know, I didn't count, very useful math class methods provided in the Java collection, the library for the math class. Please go out and do some research and look at all the methods that the math class has and what it already knows. This is going to empower you to be able to create for yourself some unique programs and also maybe some homework helpers for your own, Calc AB class or Calc BC, or maybe you're in Physics C and you want to build a homework helper. The math class and its methods will be very useful to you as you grow in your ability to write Java code, particularly code that solves equations. So let's look at what's provided. Here are the 5 that the Java Quick Reference gives to you. You have 2 versions of absolute value. One is the return of an int, absolute value of an int, absolute value of a double. Then we have the POW, power of method, and it has, 2 parameters. One is the number, and the second one is the exponent that you want it to use, the base and the exponent. Get my vernacular correct. And then we have the square root and random. Now we're going to use a whole video to talk about random. So in the second video, we're going to think about using these four methods. I'm going to break down the anatomy of one of them here and then come back for video 2 where we're going to look in depth at these four. And then in video 3, you'll spend all our time on random. So here's how the int absolute value method works. So here's our variable name. Here's our method call. Obviously the class is math, the method is abs, and our parameter is the number 100. And you already know what that one's going to return. I threw you a cupcake there. Here's what we've learned in this lesson is that math class methods are static, and you're going to learn to evaluate expressions using it. It's a part of the java.lang package, and it only contains, the math class does, static values. Thank you for joining me. Come back in the next video to see how to apply these methods.